Today we're looking at where to place this guy and maybe even getting him kind of placed. So I came to an epiphany. We're going to call it an epiphany at some point. That it makes more sense for the treehouse to actually be over here. And let me explain why. So first, the treehouse over here gets perilously close to the turning radius of the cars, right? Like, it's really pretty tight. In fact, I'm actually hitting a branch back there. So it gets really tight. And while that's kind of cool, like, who builds a treehouse right over top of train tracks, right? And so I was like, wait a minute. Why not put this over in here? Because these are both the outside turns, if you will. And so therefore it can be a little bit closer. And it kind of will fill in this area because I don't know what else to put in this area because it is kind of narrow. And so this is kind of narrow. And I was like, wait, but what am I going to do about the creek? And then I realized, Travis, you're stupid. The creek doesn't have to be there. The creek can be wherever because you're going to strip the base down to just the technic underpinnings. And you can put that wherever you want. So I'm like, oh, then maybe I can put the creek down along the side here. And it's like, yeah, duh, of course. And so that's where we're at with this today. So today I think we're going to go ahead and strip all the base stuff off and get it down to just the technic base. If you have not built this set, these are all panels that just pop off. And then the base is just like a technic square, basically. And so we're going to rip it down to there and see what size that is and maybe where that can fit amongst this whole thing. I am a little bit afraid of it tipping over, but I think it will be okay. We're going to give it a shot and go from there. I need to figure out how much of this I want to take off. Eventually, I will swap the leaves to a summer theme rather than a fall theme, but I need more dark green, not dark green. Ooh, I could do dark green. I'm going to assess that. Maybe I'll do dark green and normal green. We'll see what that looks like. But anyways, I need to switch this over at some point. But I don't have that, like, if we're looking at this, I don't have this green. I've only got this green, right? This green. And I've got dark green in these big limbs. So, I need to assess what I want to do there with that. But that doesn't mean I can't go ahead and get the base plate set and all that, because actually it might be easier with it actually set into place to go ahead and start to make this modification. So that's what we're working on today. Okay, so I had to take it off camera for a minute because I had to do it close to the ground, and I'm going to show you why I did it close to the ground in a second. But I was able to strip all of the technic parts off, actually, all the way, I almost fell again, all the way down to just that. And in fact, that's just sitting there. I'll reattach the technic parts when I go to actually place it in there. But I needed to get all the dark plates out because they were too big. And while I was holding it upside down, the whole top part fell right off. So apparently that was mostly just friction fit in there. It's got 2 little Technic, but they weren't pins. They were, I guess one was a pin. But, yeah, so that's why I did it close to the ground in case if it fell, it didn't have far to go. And, that did in fact happen. Okay, so now I got this out. And I will need to look at some directions how to get some pieces back on. I don't know how to get those pieces back on. Also those kind of fell off too in the process. This is a little more demolition than I was expecting, but it's okay. We got it down to this, and now I can go ahead and look to see how it's going to fit into a Mills plate, because I don't want it to be across multiple Mills plates. I would like to keep it all inside of one Mills plate. So that's what the next little task is, to figure out what all I need to reattach as far as technic-wise to give it a good supporting base, and then figure out how to get that into my existing Mills plates. Okay, so I recreated something similar to what was on the bottom. I just mirrored it. So originally it was just that one that's like top to bottom right now, and I just kind of mirrored something left to right, something similar with the parts that I have. And I think this is gonna be fine. I'm gonna set this right into the Mills plate. As you can see, it'll sit flat right against the Mills plate, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so I Mills plated right around my base. And so we're just gonna go ahead and sit it in there and push down. And she's good to go. I think I'm going to wrap, so the stair is originally wrapped in this way, right? I'm going to reverse the stair wrap out into here, and then this way I can have all this room. The A-frame cabin can sit back here, and then I have all this room for some camp type things and all that. So I think this is going to look really good once it's all done and in place. I'm going to look up the directions to figure out how to fix that, and get the top back on and take a look at where we're at with it. All right, got it back in there. I flipped the steps, which was actually a lot easier than I was expecting. I basically was able to just flip everything. There was nothing that was like specifically right or left handed in any of that, so that was super easy to flip. I just put all the little greenery stuff back just for now. And so this is flipped around. This is stuck in there. It's really pretty stable. Really stable actually. Train's clear just fine. I think it looks pretty good. One slight issue that I did run into is the hook. Actually, if I would hang the basket, would probably clip the trains. And I don't know exactly what to do about that. I might just leave it. I could maybe extend the arm so that it would actually hold the hook up higher. So maybe that's an option, or I just leave it just as is and just leave the basket down here on the ground. That's probably what's going to happen for now, at least. And then I'm going to wait till I get the A-frame to actually carve out the little stream. But I'm thinking the little stream will probably split down the middle here. And just kind of come down through here and then split right in here. I think that makes the most sense and is probably the easiest to do. And then that way it kind of splits the treehouse from the A-frame a little bit and just kind of makes a nice little wig, maybe come over a little bit, make a little zigzaggy path coming down through there. Also crossing out a straight parvet track will make that easier to do, because I can just put a little tiny arch in there and call it done. Crossing over here is going to be a little bit more difficult, but we'll get that figured out. And maybe we'll see. I was gonna say maybe the answer is to put a little pond here, like a little tiny pond, like maybe just like this, and then just let the stream go out the back maybe. But that's kind of weird. I don't like that, so I'm gonna scratch that idea. We're gonna make a stream. And yeah, so that's where that is. So that was actually a little bit more work than I expected. But I just need to flip these over to green, and eventually I'll get a lighting kit for that and get lights in it. But I'm going to check that off as done. And again, one more thing in this area is done, and another set off my shelf, which is always good to clear some room on shelves. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay tuned for some more updates as we go along through updating the city. Thanks, y'all.